Hello guys, very good evening. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep, the most comprehensive preparation app for all the competitive exams. So today I am going to discuss IP addresses. The version 4 and version 5, version 6 we will discuss. So please quickly join and mark your presence. I hope every one of you are doing good, and please do subscribe the channel for getting more notifications, and do like the session and share with your friends before I begin the session. So today, I came up with IP addresses. IP address is, in computer networks, how important IP address is. What do you mean by IP? IP is nothing but internet protocol. Okay, just like we need to have an internet connection if you wanted to transfer any data from one computer to another computer globally. Okay, so for that, every computer should be recognized with an address. That address is called the IP address. IP is meant for internet protocol. I hope I am audible and visible to all of you. You can just type your questions here in the live chat box, and I will try to answer each and every question posted by you. And also, after the class is finished, comment box will be there. You can share your doubts there, and I will reply to each and every doubt. Okay. So this IP address is very important in all the competitive exams, because in computer networks, the network layer is the heart of the total layers, and IP is also called as the network layer, and also this IP network and internet layer in some of the reference model. Okay, so join quickly and mark your presence, and just let me know whether my audio, video, everything is clear. Okay. Yes, so now I will start the session. So before I begin the session, let me introduce myself. Myself, Muralikrishna Sir. I am having 21 plus years of teaching experience, both in the GATE and also I worked in different engineering colleges. And I am topper of different NPTEL courses and also certified as International Engineering Educator through IGP certification program. And so far I have mentored more than 50,000 students across the country in different core areas of computer science and engineering. Those are theory of computation, TOC, operating systems, OS, computer organization and architecture, COA, computer network, CN, digital logic and design, DLD, information and communication technology, ICT. So these are the areas where I am expertise, and this is about my brief profile. Okay, I hope I am audible. So hello Omigo, yes, thank you. Hi Sahil, good evening. How are you, Sahil? So please share the class information with your friends, and please do subscribe the session, because if you subscribe this channel, you will get the notifications related to a lot of the free content we are providing, free classes in the YouTube. So variety of classes we are providing, like fundamental series for GATE 2024 and a NIELIT 2023, and also some learn with fun concepts, coffee with concepts, variety of the practice sessions we are conducting, and some general sessions also regarding the guidance for the MTech admission in the IITs, and also how to prepare and how to remove your fear before going to exam. All those things, variety of sessions we are planning. So please subscribe the channel. Yes, I'll thank you. So now coming to there is a free workshop actually. We planned a free workshop to know about 5 crucial points for GATE 2024 preparation beginners by Joshit Singh Sir. He's from IIT Kharagpur MTech, and he's having 4+ years of experience, and the live session will be on 18th at 7:30 p.m. Please don't miss it. Please attend this workshop, free workshop for all your benefit. Okay. Now coming to yes, GATE 2023 results. So it is a very big celebration for BYJU'S Exam Prep for results of GATE 2023, and more than 62 students we got under All India rank 50, and 13 students we got under All India rank 10, and 107 students have got under All India rank 100. So these are some of our toppers in CSE, P&I, and also in the instrumentation and electrical. Dhruv has got the 5th rank in computer science, and Gautam has got All India top rank, 1st rank in P&I, and Sar Verma has got instrumentation 4th rank and EEE All India rank 5th. Okay, so big congratulations to all these people, and I wish you all the best for NIELIT aspirants and also for GATE 2024 and 25 aspirants. Okay. So shall we start the session? So is it fine? I hope my audio, video and everything is perfect. Yes, please kindly do. Yes. Yeah, fine. Okay, so now coming to IP addresses. So what do you mean by IP address? So actually, two computers wanted to communicate in an internet. So internet is nothing but it's a network of networks, as you know. Okay, data we need to pass from one network to another network. So that means every computer is a part of one network. Okay, like that, multiple networks are connected through the routers, intermediate nodes. Those are called the routers. So internetworking devices, routers, gateways, bridges, there are a lot of internetworking devices we use in the computer network. So out of that, router is very, very important internetworking device where we can connect a host of one network to a host of another network. If two computers are communicating in an internet, okay, one computer may be at one end of the world, other computer may be at other end of the world. Just like in a postal system, how we are having a PIN code number for unique identification of an area, is similarly for unique identification of a computer, it's called a host in the internet. So we require to have a logical address that is called IP address. So we are talking about version 4 here. First, let us talk about IP version 4, which are widely used right now, and we are slowly migrating from version 4 to version 6. And you may have a doubt, what about version 5? Version 5 is a testing purpose and also for streaming purpose. So version 4 and version 6 are in the usage. So actually there are a lot of IP version 4 addresses are got exhausted, and there is a need for a lot of IP addresses. So for that we are slowly migrating from version 4 to version 6. So briefly I will describe version 6 also in today's class. Okay. So please don't leave the session till the end, and also please do share with your friends and subscribe the channel. And I will show you some interesting the topics here, and it will be continued also for the next classes. Okay. Yes, am I audible? Okay, fine. That's great. Okay. So basically in IP version 4 address, okay, so we are having a 32-bit address that uniquely identifies a device over the internet. The device may be a laptop, the device may be a mobile phone, or it may be a desktop, or it may be any other device which is able to transfer the data and receive the data. Say for example printer. You can also have printer in the internet. Okay. So any device in the internet should have an IP address for the unique and universal identification. Okay. So the address space of IP version 4 is 2 power 32. So let us suppose how it is 2 power 32. Simple. Say for example, if I am taking 2 bits for instance. So 2 bits is nothing but we can have the values 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So 4 values. That means 2 power 2 combinations, 4. Similarly, if we take 3 bits, so 2 power 3, 8 combinations. If we take 32 bits, we can have 2 power 32 combinations. So 2 power 32 is a numerical value in decimal. So more than 4 billions. More than 4 billions of entities, but all the entities we may not be able to use for the host, because there can be some special addresses, there can be some private addresses, okay, and there can be some addresses which are used for loopback, okay, there can be some addresses which is to identify the network address and also broadcast address. Like that, lot of varieties of addresses will be there in the space of IP version 4. Classful addresses, classless addresses, etc. Okay. So now just in today's session, just I wanted to introduce representation of IP addresses and how to identify the net ID and host ID, and what are the different classes, how to identify a class, and how to identify a network address. So with this simple basics, I'll just conclude the session, but this is very, very important for understanding the advanced topic in IP addresses. Okay. Is it clear? I hope I am audible and visible to every one of you. Please do share the channel with your friends. Okay. Yes, yes. Hello, good evening. Get easy, CSE, good evening. How are you? I hope all of you are doing good and attending my classes. I am taking your classes in the app as well as in the YouTube. So please join in my Telegram group. If you are already there, it's fine. Otherwise, please join in my Telegram group. I will send you the updates about my classes. Right? Okay, now let's continue. That's great. Fine. IP version 4 address notations are like this. There are two equivalent notations to show the IP version 4 addresses. One is a binary notation and other is the dotted decimal notation. Just for human being to understand, we use a dotted decimal notation. For computer to understand, binary notation is required. Okay, it is like this. So binary notation and dotted decimal notation are the two notations we use. Binary notation is like this. The IP version 4 address is of 32 bits distributed into 4-byte address. So actually 32-bit is nothing but 4 bytes. Every byte is nothing but a group of 8 bits. So group of 8 bits is nothing but octet. Octet. One octet is nothing but group of 8 bits. One octet is nothing but group of 8 bits. So it is shown like this. So this is one octet, one example. This is one octet. This is the second octet, third octet, fourth octet. So that means how many octets? 4 octets. 4 8s, 32-bit IP address. It is shown in the binary notation. Binary notation. So one thing you have to understand, in binary, what is the smallest value we can show using the 8 bits? In the octet 00000000. This is the least value of 8 bits and the maximum value 11111111. So all ones is the maximum value, all zeros is the minimum value. So this is equivalent to decimal 0. This is equivalent to decimal 255. 255. Okay. So this is the range actually. So 0 to 255 is a range of addresses we can have. Now coming to dotted decimal notation, it is necessarily a readable representation just. For example, this is the binary value, the equivalent decimal value is 149 and this is 133, this is 113, this is 6. So for understanding the problems of IP version 4 addresses, one has to be having some knowledge, thorough knowledge in the binary and decimal conversions and also mask operations like doing AND operation between the binary bits you require to know. Then only you can quickly solve the problems. Okay. So the basic background required for this is one should have knowledge about decimal to binary representation, binary to decimal. Quickly if you can convert, so that it is very easy task for solving the problems. Okay. Fine. Okay. Now coming to dotted decimal notation. Actually, if you see this, we are dividing this total IP address space into how many categories? 5 classes. Okay. So byte 1, this is the first octet, second octet, third octet, fourth octet. So this is being divided into class A, class B, class C, class D and class E. There are 5 classes of IP addresses. What I have shown here, you can see this total 32-bit addresses can be divided into 5 classes in a classful address. And this is how the data is passing in the layers at the sender side and also at the receiver side, just shown in the form of some animated diagram. I think everybody might be knowing how we can pass the information from one layer to another layer by adding the headers. Just as a reference I have taken this. It has got not having much importance in this particular topic. Okay. So now if you take a class A, net ID is 8 bits, 24 bits host ID. Class B, 16 bits net ID and 16 bits host ID. Class C, 24 bits net ID, 8 bits host ID. And the class D addresses are used for the multicasting, means group addresses. Class E is reserved for the research and also for the future reference, but that research also gone now and that future usage also gone, and you will see how we are using class E addresses and also the reserved addresses, all those things. Okay. So basically the classful addresses will be using for 3 classes majorly, class A, class B, class C, and D and E are for multicasting and for the research purpose. Okay. Now, any IP address if you take, as I told you, internet is nothing but it's a network of network. This network may be communicated with this network. Like that we may have lakhs of networks. So in between the networks we may have the routers, just like the intermediate or interconnecting nodes. Routers are actually intermediate and internetworking devices where we can pass the information from one network to another network. These are all the host within a network. So every network should have a net ID, network ID, and every host will have host ID. So host ID and net ID is must in every IP address. In the 32-bit IP address, we are supposed to have net ID and host ID. Net ID indicates in which network you are in the total networks of the internet. And host ID indicate within the network what is your system ID. This is a logical address. Again, every computer will have a physical address also, that is a MAC address. That is also unique and universal. No two computers will have the same MAC address. Okay, even no two computers will have the same IP address at the same time. Different computers will have different IP addresses. Hope you are following. Okay, and any sort of doubt you get, please don't hesitate to ask. Please immediately post your doubt. Okay, so today I am covering completely the basic of this IP addresses. Okay, now let's move. Okay, so now in these classes, how we can identify, just by looking at the IP address, how we can identify the class of an IP address. Just by looking at one bit at the left hand side or the range of the values, we can find out the class of an IP address. So identification of a class is very important in order to route the packet from source to destination. Network layer responsibilities based on the destination IP address, based on the destination, just like letters, how the letters are delivered to the destination in a postal system, based on the two address. Okay, from address to address, from address from where it is coming to address to where it has to be delivered. Similarly, every packet of information will containing source IP address, destination IP address. So routers will check the destination IP address to route the data packet to reach to the destination. So for that we require this. So now 4 classes of IP addresses like A, B, C, D and E, and these are known as called classful addresses. So this is the identification. Actually, out of these total 32 bits, okay, if leftmost bit is 0, if leftmost bit is 0, then it is called class A. This is considered to be a class A IP address. If leftmost 2 bits are 10, it is a class B. 110, it is a class C. 1110, class D. 1111, class E. Leftmost bits, MSB side, most significant side. So in the range of decimal 0.0.0.0 to 127.255.255.255. This is the range. Okay, so this is the address range for the class A. Okay, because leftmost bit is fixed now. That means if leftmost bit is fixed in the leftmost octet, so all 7 zeros indicates the first value and the maximum value is all 7 ones, whose value is 127. That's why it is going from 0 to 127 range. That's a class A. 128 to 191 in the leftmost. For example, if you take X point, Y point, Z point, W is an IP address, for example, X value will decide the class of an IP address. If X value from 0 to 127, it is a class A. 128 to 191, it is a class B. 192 to 223, class C. 224 to 239, class D. 240 to 255, class E. That is an easy identification. For instance, if I give one IP address, for example, let us suppose I am giving IP address some 145.9.256.45. What is the class of this IP address? Can anybody tell me? What is the class of this IP address? Can you type? What is the class of this IP address? Yes. Yes. Okay. But this is invalid IP address. This is invalid IP address. Why it is invalid? In the octet, we can't show number 256. What is the maximum value? 255. Because every octet is 8 bits. So using 8 bits, the maximum value is 8 ones. So whose decimal value is 255. So 256 is invalid. That's why this question is specifically asked. Exact decile, it is invalid. 256 is not possible. Okay. So if you have 255 and other things, it is okay. Now coming to in classful addressing, an IP address in class A and B and C are divided into net ID and host ID like this. Class A, first octet net ID, remaining 3 octets host ID. Class B, first 2 octets net ID, remaining 2 octets host ID. For a class C, first 3 octets net ID, 1 octet host ID. Class D is multicasting and class E is for result. And that means class A networks are very bigger in size, number of networks are smaller. Because 24 bits are used for host means number of hosts are more. only 16 bits for host in the class B, only 8 bits for host in the class C. That means class C networks are very small in size, class B networks are medium in size, class A networks are bigger in size. For bigger government organizations, we use class A networks. For bigger medium sized private and government organizations, we use class B, and for small organizations we use class C networks. Okay, so that is depends on the size. Hope you are understanding. Okay, now coming to number of networks and number of hosts in different classes, it is like this. In a classful addressing, it is like this. For a class A, we are using number of bits used for net ID 8, right, for a class A, and 24 bits is for host ID. But number of networks are only 2 power 7 minus 2, why minus 2? Because 0.0.0.0 we don't use, and 127 also we use for the directed broadcast. So actually using the leftmost bit 0, we can have the combinations for a class A like this. So 7 bits zeros to 7 bit 1. This is the range of class A in the leftmost octet. So this value is 0, this value is 127. But 0 and 127 are excluded because they are some special purpose. That's why 2 power 7 minus 2 is the number of networks in the class A. And there are 24 bits in the host ID, but number of hosts are 2 power 24 minus 2. The reason is, if all are zeros in the host, that is a network address. All are ones, it's a broadcast address. For instance, I will show you one example. Let us suppose we are having 12.0.0.0. So all the host bits are zeros. So this is the network address for a net ID 12 in a class A. This is a class A IP address. Similarly, if you take 12.255.255.255, so there are all ones. All ones means it is a broadcast address. It is a broadcast address. That is the difference. So broadcast means if this is the destination address, information will go to all the hosts within that network. Information will go to all the hosts within that network. So these two we have to exclude. We can't assign these addresses to a host because these are network addresses and broadcast addresses respectively. That's why 2 power 24 minus 2 is in the base, not on the power. And 16 bits are used for net ID in the class B, but only 2 power 14 are possible. What is the reason? Because if you see the previous slide, so 2 bits are used for class identification. Out of the 16 bits, if 2 bits are fixed, so only 14 bits remaining. The 14 bits we can arrange in 2 power 14 different ways. So 2 power 14 different ways if you arrange, then as per this, so number of networks are 2 power 14 only, no exclusion like class A. And 16 bits are used for host ID. So every host, every network of class B can have 2 power 16 minus 2 hosts. Okay, similarly class C, 24 bits are used for net ID, but 3 bits 110 fixed. Then 2 power 21 addresses only, networks only in class C. And 8 bits are used for host ID. 2 power 8 minus 2 is the number of hosts for each network. Hope you are understanding. Is it clear? If you have a doubt, any concern, please do let me know. Yes, but don't leave the session. This is such an important session. And I am planning a very important session in computer networks as per the requirements of NIELIT 2023. Okay. Now coming to IP version 6 address. So why IP version 6 is required? Because most of the IP version 4 addresses are getting exhausted, and there is a demand for more number of IP connections, network connections and host connections. Everybody is using internet nowadays. So IP version 4 addresses existing are not sufficient. That's why we are using IP version 4 as well as IP version 6, but slowly maybe in future IP version 4 might disappear. IP version 6 is a 128-bit address. Okay. So there is a problem of depletion in the IP version 4, that's why it has been increased, and it's a 128 bits. Maybe in future if we communicate with other planets also, it might be sufficient. In other planet also, if internet is there, connecting from one planet to other planet also, sufficient number of addresses are available. Just I am imagining, don't think that it is exact. So maybe considering the future in mind, at the time of inventing IP version 4, the people thought of that 32 bits are more than sufficient. It is usable for all the future needs. But that has been gone, right? Every one of you know, because nowadays Internet of Things are coming. Every device can be connected to internet, maybe air coolers, so air conditioners, okay, any electronic device you are using, refrigerator and washing machine, okay, microwave oven, everything we can connect to internet and we can operate. So that means every device required to have an IP address. So with this demand, IP version 4 may not able to supplement this needs. That's why IP version 6 we migrated, and keeping in view of the rigorous expansion of networks. So IP version 6 has been decided as 128-bit long IP address. It's very complex IP address. Hope you are following. Okay now? Yes, yes. Hi Satya. Satya sir, good evening. Okay. So now coming to this one, hexadecimal notation for IP version 6. Okay, we can see this. So binary coded hexa, FEDC, you know binary coded hexa. So like this now, 0000 is the minimum hexa code, and 1111 is the maximum hexa code, 0 to F. So we represent the IP version 6 addresses like this in the form of hexa notation, colon hexa notation, just like we use the decimal and dotted decimal notation and binary notation for IP version 4. So we use this notation for IP version 6. Just to supplement the needs of connections to the IP networks, so we require more number of addresses. Okay. Yes. Now let's. IP version 4 offers enhanced security also when compared to IP version 4, and encryption and authentication is being provided. And now let us talk about default mask. What is a default mask and why it is used? Actually, technically, let us suppose if you wanted to know the network, let us suppose there is a router. Okay, one packet has arrived at a router, and the router has to forward the packet, because the packet switching is nothing but store and forward mechanism. So packets are stored in the router's buffer and processed and then delivered by inspecting the header, and based on the destination IP address, based on the router's routing entries, we are supposed to deliver the packets to the destination. That is the criteria. Am I right? So for that, whenever, let us suppose there is one particular destination IP address, it has come up with a destination IP address of 145.56.2.13. I wanted to forward, the router wanted to forward a packet to this destination address. If it is a classful routing, okay, so there are classless addresses also. We will discuss in separate session for that. And 145, first it will identify the class. How it will identify? Leftmost 2 bits it will check. Definitely for 145, leftmost 2 bits are 10. Sure. Okay. So this is a class B. So in a class B, we have to identify this particular IP address belonging to which network, because every host is a part of one network, because internet is nothing but it's a network of networks, as you know. Clear? Are you following? Yes. No, not only the IoT. Yes, you are right. Not only the requirement for IP version 6, actually before the invention of IoT itself, it has come. Even for the normal connections itself, the IP version 4 addresses has been exhausted. That is the reason. But even for much more advancement of IoT and all, also IP version 6, definitely IP address is required. Okay. Yes, NIELIT is also there, but in spite of having NIELIT also, that is a separate IP, we can say, supporting protocol. NIELIT is okay, and then dynamic host configuration, ICMP, these are all IP support protocols that will be discussed separately. Yes. Fine. Now coming to this particular address, to know the technically what is a network address, for that we have to go with a default mask. Default mask. So default mask is nothing but, usually for every class we can use a default mask for A, B and C. Say for example, if you take a class A, the default mask would be all the net ID part is ones, all the host ID part will be zeros. So this is the default mask for class A. And for class B, the default mask is 255.255.0.0. And for class C, the default mask would be 255.255.255.0. So 3 octets are ones and last octet will be 0. So we can say this is /8 because there are first 8 bits ones, and /16 first 16 bits are ones, /24 24 bits are ones. All the net ID part of the class A is ones, all the net ID part of class B are ones, and the host ID parts will be zeros. Okay, now why it is required? So let us suppose if you do mask operation is nothing but it is a logical AND operation, So 145.56.2.13. So router will perform the logical AND operation with the respective class default mask. What is the default mask of class B? 255.0.0. So what is output? Mask operation is nothing but logical AND operation. Convert 145 into binary, 255 into binary, and perform bit by bit AND operation. So output is 145 only. This is 56 only. If one input is 0, output is 0 in the AND operation. So like this. 145.56.0.0 is the network address where this host is present. So based on this network address or respective subnetwork, if it is divided into subnetworks, we need to forward the packet. So that is the reason this mask operation and masks are required. So for the normal networks, we use the default mask. For the masks which are divided, for example, networks that are divided into subnetworks, subnet mask will be used. Okay, now please note on this. Yes, is it clear? Shall we go for the next slide? Okay, now one more example I'll tell you for this. And meanwhile, if you have any doubt or any concern, please don't hesitate to ask. For instance, if I take one class C, let us suppose something like 201.53.92.0. This is one class C network address. So this is the network, for example. What is the net ID? 201.53.92 is the net ID, because in a class C, 3 octets are net ID, 1 octet is host ID. And every host should have an IP address. So how the IP addresses will begin in this class C network, I will show you for easy understanding. So 256 IP addresses are possible. So first host, just write it as H1. First host IP address is 201.53.92.1, because 0.0 will be taken as network address. Similarly, second host IP address is 201.53.92.2. Similarly, last host number 254, because we can have number of hosts per class C network is 2 power 8 minus 2, which is 256 minus 2 is a 254. Okay, this is a 201.53.92. Okay, 254. So total 254 hosts for this network. And what is the broadcast address? 201.53.92.255. This is a broadcast address. This is the network address. These are all usable host IP addresses in this network. Hope you understood. What is the default mask for this particular class C? 255.255.255.0. You take any of these IP address. If you wanted to find out a network address, you have to perform AND operation. For example, this and this, you will get output as 201.53.92.0. That's it. That is what the default mask is. I hope everybody understood what is the default mask here. Is it clear? Yes, sir. Anybody else is having any doubts? Please do let me know. I'll just clear out doubt. Yes? Hope so. Yes. Fine. Okay. Good. So, and still if you have any doubt, please ask me, and also please continue posting your doubts in the comment box also after the class is finished. And I will come up with some more special classes for NIELIT 2023 in computer networks. Okay. And next class will be on 19th, day after tomorrow evening 7 p.m. Please attend that class. Okay. And so those who have finished, please do subscribe the channel, and also please do like the session and share with your friends. Okay. And if you have any doubt, and please continue posting right now for a while, and also after that class is finished, you can use the comment box. Yes, Ushaja, good evening. Sahil, yes. Are you having doubts now? So I'll just give you outline whatever I have discussed as of now. So I have just started with IP version 4 and the importance for it, and representation of IP version 4 in two formats, and the difference between version 4 and version 6. Okay, and also about the default mask and classes. IP version 4 classes, class A, B, C, D and E, and how to identify the class of an IP address, all those things. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Manadal. Have a good night. See you once again. Thank you. Thank you all.